America was on the verge of revolution. Not metaphorically, literally. Armed workers were fighting corporate militias in the streets. Anarchists were bombing factories. Socialists were winning elections. Millions were ready to overthrow capitalism completely. This was 1900, the Gilded Age, when 3 men controlled more wealth than half the country combined, when workers died in factories that locked the exits, when children worked 14-hour shifts in coal mines, when the government openly served billionaires. Capitalism was eating itself, and everyone knew it was about to collapse. But it didn't collapse. Someone rebuilt it, reformed it, saved it from itself. And here's the twist. The people who saved capitalism weren't capitalists. They were the ones capitalism tried to destroy: workers, reformers, radicals, even socialists. This is the story of how America was broken by greed and rebuilt by the people greed tried to crush. How the worst inequality in history was transformed into the greatest middle-class prosperity in history. How a system designed to concentrate wealth was redesigned to distribute it. But here's the warning. Everything they built is being dismantled. We're returning to Gilded Age inequality. And this time, there might not be anyone left to rebuild. Buckle up. Because what happened 120 years ago is the roadmap for what we need to do now. Part 1. Let's start with how bad things actually were. And I mean bad. The Gilded Age is at its peak. The name itself is sarcastic. Mark Twain coined it to mean golden on the surface, rotten underneath. Here are the numbers. The richest 1% own 50% of all wealth. The richest 10% own 90% of all wealth. The bottom 50% own basically nothing. 3 men: Rockefeller, Carnegie, and Morgan control more wealth than the GDP of most countries. Rockefeller alone is worth roughly $400 billion in today's money. But it's not just inequality. It's the conditions. Workers are disposable. Factory accidents kill 35,000 workers per year. There's no compensation, no liability. Just get another worker. Child labor is universal. Kids as young as 6 work in coal minis, textile factories, and farms. They work 14-hour days. Many die before age 15. Working conditions are hellish. No safety regulations, no breaks, no overtime pay. You work until you drop or you're fired. And wages. A factory worker makes $400 to $500 per year. That's barely enough to survive. Many families need everyone working: father, mother, children to afford food. Meanwhile, the wealthy live in obscene luxury. They build mansions with 100+ rooms. They throw parties costing millions. They buy entire train cars plated in gold. And they control everything. The government, the courts, the police, even the military. When workers strike, the government sends the army, not to protect workers, to shoot them. Homestead strike. Carnegie's steel workers demand better wages. Carnegie hires private militia, the Pinkerton Agency. They attack the workers. 16 people die. The state sends 8,000 soldiers to break the strike. Pullman strike. Railroad workers strike for living wages. President Cleveland sends federal troops. They kill 30 strikers. Ludlow massacre. Coal miners strike in Colorado. John Rockefeller Jr. orders the National Guard to attack the workers' camp. They burn tents with families inside. 20 people die, including 11 children. This is capitalism in its purest form. No regulations, no limits, no accountability, just profit maximization by any means necessary. And the wealthy justify it with ideology, social Darwinism. They claim rich people are rich because they're superior. Poor people are poor because they're inferior. It's natural selection. Interfering with this is interfering with nature. Andrew Carnegie literally writes, "The millionaires who have earned their wealth are the bee makers of the hive. They are the most efficient, most capable." John D. Rockefeller says, "The growth of a large business is merely survival of the fittest." They believe their wealth proves their moral superiority, and that any attempt to limit them is attacking human progress. This ideology dominates. Courts strike down labor laws as unconstitutional interference with freedom of contract. Congress is bought by corporate money. Presidents openly serve business interests. By 1900, America is functionally an oligarchy. Democracy exists in name only. Real power belongs to the capitalists. But something's happening. Something that will change everything. Workers are organizing. Here's what the capitalists didn't see coming. Desperation creates revolution. By 1900, millions of workers have had enough. They're forming unions. Massive unions. Militant unions. 340,000 workers strike for 8-hour workdays. It's the largest labor action in American history to that point. The strike is mostly peaceful, but in Chicago, police attack a worker demonstration. Someone throws a bomb. 7 police die. Police respond by shooting into the crowd. 4 workers die. 8 anarchist leaders are arrested. 4 are hanged. Despite zero evidence, they threw the bomb. They're executed for their beliefs. But this doesn't stop the movement. It accelerates it. The industrial workers of the world, the IWWE, is founded. They're revolutionary. They want to abolish capitalism entirely, replace it with worker-controlled industries. Their slogan, abolition of the wage system. They organize everyone: immigrants, women, black workers, people the mainstream unions exclude. Within 5 years, they have 150,000 members, and they're effective. IWW strikes are militant. They use tactics like sabotage, general strikes, sit-ins. They fight the bosses, and they fight dirty. The capitalists are terrified. They call the IWW domestic terrorists. The government launches mass arrests. Police raid IWW offices. Leaders are imprisoned under sedition laws. But the more the government cracks down, the more support grows. Because by 1910, socialism is mainstream in America. Think about that. Socialism. In America. Mainstream Socialist Party candidate Eugene Debs gets 900,000 votes for president. That's 6% of the vote. Socialists win 1,200 local elections, city councils, state legislators. Milwaukee elects a socialist mayor. So does Schenectady. So does dozens of other cities. The Socialist Party's platform: nationalize railroads, banks, and major industries. 8-hour workday. Abolish child labor. Universal healthcare. Unemployment insurance. Old age pensions. This isn't fringe. This is a major political movement, threatening to take power. And the wealthy are panicking. Because they realize, if we don't reform capitalism, workers will destroy it. But reform seems impossible. The system is too entrenched. The courts block every regulation. Congress is bored. The president serves business. Then Theodore Roosevelt becomes president. And everything changes. President McKinley is assassinated. Vice President Theodore Roosevelt becomes president. He's 42 years old. The wealthy think, great, another rich guy. He'll protect our interests. They're wrong. Roosevelt looks at the situation and sees disaster coming. He sees socialists gaining power, workers getting radicalized, inequality creating instability. And he realizes, if capitalism doesn't reform itself, revolution will destroy it. He says, of all forms of tyranny, the least attractive and the most vulgar is the tyranny of mere wealth. He calls wealthy industrialists malefactors of great wealth. That's 1900s language for greedy bastards. And he does something unprecedented. He attacks the monopolies. Roosevelt uses the Sherman Antitrust Act, a law that has been on the books but never enforced, to break up the biggest corporations. He goes after Northern Securities, a railroad monopoly controlled by J.P. Morgan. Morgan is furious. He travels to Washington and tells Roosevelt, if we have done anything wrong, send your man to my man, and they can fix it up. Translation: let's make a deal. Let's negotiate. Like we always do. Roosevelt's response: we don't want to fix it up. We want to stop it. This shocks the wealthy. A president is defying them, refusing their money, actually enforcing the law. The Supreme Court sides with Roosevelt. Northern Securities is broken up. Roosevelt continues. He goes after Standard Oil, American Tobacco, dozens of monopolies. By 1909, he's broken up or regulated every major monopoly in America. But it's not just antitrust. Roosevelt pushes through other reforms. Pure Food and Drug Act bans contaminated food and fake medicine. Meat Inspection Act mandates sanitary conditions in meatpacking, creates national parks and forests, protects environment from corporate exploitation, regulates railroads, caps shipping rates to prevent price gouging. Each reform enrages the wealthy. They call Roosevelt a traitor to his class. Wall Street hates him. But here's what's brilliant. Roosevelt is saving capitalism from itself. He's not dismantling the system. He's preventing revolution by addressing the worst abuses. He's making capitalism tolerable enough that workers don't overthrow it. And it works. For a while, but then comes World War I, and everything accelerates. America enters World War I. The government needs massive production, weapons, uniforms, food, ships, and they need worker cooperation. Can't have strikes during wartime. So the government makes a deal with unions. We'll recognize you, protect your right to organize, and enforce better working conditions. In exchange, you don't strike during the war. Unions agree. And for the first time, The federal government actively supports labor. Wages rise. Working conditions improve. Union membership explodes from 2.7 million to 5 million. By 1919, workers have real power, and they use it for a million workers. 20% of the workforce go on strike. It's the biggest wave of labor actions in American history. Seattle General Strike, steel strike, coal strike, police strike in Boston, strikes everywhere. The demands are radical: worker control of industries, nationalization of utilities, universal health care, guaranteed employment. This terrifies the capitalists. They think, this is it. This is revolution. So they fight back with propaganda. They call strikers Bolsheviks. They say labor unions are communist plots to destroy America, and it works. Public opinion turns strikes are broken. But the capitalists make a mistake. They think they've won. They think they can return to Gilded Age capitalism. They're wrong, because the 1920s inequality creates the 1929 crash. October 1929, stock market collapses, banks fail, businesses close, unemployment hits 25%. The Great Depression. And this time capitalism actually might die, because people have nothing left to lose. 25,000 World War I veterans march on Washington, demanding promised bonuses. They set up camps. The government sends the army led by Douglas MacArthur to attack them with tanks and tear gas. Americans see their own army attacking veterans. The system is eating itself. Farmers are losing their land. Workers can't find jobs. Families are starving. And the wealthy are hoarding money. By 1933, America is on the brink. Either capitalism reforms, or revolution happens. Then Franklin Delano Roosevelt becomes president. And he does something that will save capitalism by transforming it. FDR's inauguration. His famous line, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." But privately, he tells advisors, "We're going to save capitalism. And the capitalists are going to hate us for it." He's right on both counts. FDR launches the New Deal, the most radical restructuring of American capitalism in history. Here's what he does. Banking reform. Glass-Steagall Act separates commercial and investment banking, creates FDIC to insure deposits. Banks can't gamble with people's money anymore. Labor rights. National Labor Relations Act guarantees workers' right to organize, creates the National Labor Relations Board to enforce it. Suddenly, unions are legal and protected. Minimum wage and maximum hours. Fair labor standards. Act sets minimum wage at 25 cents hour and maximum work week at 44 hours. Ends child labor. Social Security. Creates old age pensions, unemployment insurance, disability benefits. The safety net. Public Works. Employs millions directly. Builds infrastructure dams, roads, bridges, parks. The government becomes employer of last resort. Financial regulation. Securities Exchange Act regulates Wall Street. No more stock manipulation. No more insider trading. Progressive taxation. Top income tax rate goes from 25% to 91%. Wealth is redistributed through taxation. This is revolutionary. FDR is fundamentally restructuring capitalism. Before, capitalism serves the wealthy. Workers are disposable. Government protects business. After, capitalism serves society. Workers have rights. Government regulates business. The wealthy hate it. They call FDR a traitor, a communist, a dictator. But FDR has political power. Why? Because workers are organized. Unions represent 35% of the workforce by 1945. They're a voting bloc. They're a political force. FDR tells critics, "I'm the best friend capitalism ever had. I'm preventing revolution." And he's right. The New Deal saves capitalism by making it fair enough that workers accept it. By 1940, inequality is dropping. Middle class is growing. Economy is recovering. Then comes World War II, and the transformation completes. During World War II, the government goes even further. They control prices, ration goods, tax the rich at 94%, and the economy booms. The war proves that government can manage the economy, can ensure full employment, can create prosperity through public spending. By 1945, America has been fundamentally transformed. Unions are powerful, and protected workers have rights and benefits. Government regulates capitalism. Heavily progressive taxation redistributes wealth. Social safety net protects against poverty. Infrastructure is public and excellent. This isn't the capitalism of the Gilded Age. This is reformed capitalism. Constrained capitalism. Capitalism that serves society instead of just serving the wealthy. And it works. For 30 years, 1945 to 1975, experiences the greatest middle-class prosperity in history. Inequality is low. Wages rise with productivity. A single income supports a family. College is affordable. Homes are affordable. The American dream is real. But then something happens. The wealthy regroup, and they start dismantling everything. 1970s, the New Deal coalition is weakening. Unions are declining. Political power is shifting. And the wealthy see an opportunity. They've spent 40 years hating the New Deal. Now they can destroy it. They fund think tanks. Heritage Foundation, American Enterprise Institute, Cato Institute. These organizations produce one message: regulation is bad, unions are bad, taxes are bad, government is bad. They fund political candidates who promise to free the markets. Reagan, Thatcher, the generation of neoliberals. And starting in 1980, they systematically dismantled the New Deal. 1981, Reagan breaks the Air Traffic Controllers Union, signals that union busting is acceptable. Union membership starts collapsing. 1982, top income tax rate cut from 70% to 50%, then to 28%. Progressive taxation is dismantled. 1999, Glass-Steagall repealed. Banks can gamble with deposits again. This directly leads to 2008 crash. 2000s labor regulations weakened. Minimum wage stagnates. Worker protections eroded. One by one, every New Deal reform is gutted or eliminated. The results? We're back to Gilded Age inequality. Today, the top 1% own 40% of wealth. The top 10% owned 85%. The bottom 50% owned 2%. CEO to worker PE ratio in 1965, 22:1. Today, 350:1. Union membership in 1945, 35%. Today, 10%. Wealth inequality today is higher than 1929. We've returned to Gilded Age levels, and the same conditions are emerging. Workers struggling, billionaires thriving, democracy failing, corporations controlling government. We're living through Gilded Age 2.0. But here's the question: can we rebuild again? The first time, it took decades of worker organizing, mass strikes and protests, political movements threatening revolution. Leaders willing to challenge the wealthy, a Great Depression, forcing change, a world war, completing the transformation that was 50 years of struggle. Millions of people fighting, many dying, all to reform capitalism. And it worked for 30 years before being dismantled. Can we do it again? Do we have the collective power, the political will, the time? Or is this time different? Have the wealthy learned how to prevent reform permanently? Here's what the Gilded Age really teaches us. Capitalism doesn't fix itself. It concentrates wealth until it breaks. Then it either gets reformed or it gets replaced. 100 years ago, workers rebuilt capitalism. They fought, they organized, they suffered, they died. But they won. They created unions that gave workers power. They elected politicians who regulated business. They built a safety net that protected people. They taxed the wealthy to fund society, and it created the greatest middle-class prosperity in American history. But it wasn't inevitable. It happened because millions of people made it happen. Through strikes, through organizing, through voting, through refusing to accept Gilded Age conditions. Today, we're back where we started. Same inequality, same corporate power, same political capture, same worker exploitation. The question is, will we rebuild again? We know how to do it. We have the historical blueprint: organize workers into powerful unions. Elect politicians who will regulate capitalism, tax the wealthy, progressively build a strong safety net, break up monopolies, protect labor rights, make democracy work for everyone, not just the rich. This isn't theoretical. This is what America did before, successfully, but it requires collective action. Individual solutions won't work. Personal responsibility won't work. Hoping the market fixes itself won't work. It requires what it required last time: millions of people demanding change until change happens. The Gilded Age was rebuilt because workers made it impossible to ignore them. They struck, they protested, they threatened revolution, they forced the system to reform. Today's workers face the same choice: accept Gilded Age inequality, or fight to rebuild the system. The good news: we don't need to figure out what to do. The New Deal already showed us what works. The bad news: the wealthy won't allow reform willingly. They'll fight it with every resource they have. Just like last time. What do you think? Can we rebuild capitalism again? Or have the wealthy learned how to prevent it? Drop your thoughts in comments. Because 120 years ago, America was broken by greed and rebuilt by the people greed tried to crush. Today, It's broken again. The question is whether we still have the power to rebuild, or whether this time, the wealthy have won permanently. The Gilded Age collapsed because workers organized and demanded change. Today's Gilded Age continues, because we haven't, not yet. The tools exist. The blueprint exists. The historical precedent exists. What's missing is the collective will to use them. The first Gilded Age ended because workers said, enough. This one ends when we do the same. History doesn't repeat, but it offers lessons. We're living through a lesson we already learned once. The question is whether we remember it, or whether we'll have to learn it again the hard way.